goes into savings and has to stay there so that we have the down payment for our house and all that stuff. I know. Slowly trying to save as much as possible. They are, man. Okay. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
Look at you, got your backdrop going on and everything.
Oh, this is just my actual wall in my flat. This is my actual flat, right? So
I am trying to figure out how, I think it's live on Facebook too. I'm not sure.
okay.
I know it's live on YouTube because I'm watching it. Sorry,
No, you good.
I gotta silence it.
I just opened the Marvel's inventory.
I'm also like in between two different events right now. I'm like doing this 100 minute Harlem.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like I'm jumping back and forth.
Look at you. Well, I am waiting. We had about 5 people RSVP. Everybody's just like, just send me the Zoom. And I'm like, look, y'all, you're making this harder for me. Just do what I told you to do. And it'll do it automatically.
Yeah.
And what? It didn't work.
Okay.
I was hoping more people came. I saw a lot of people that shared the Facebook post.
There we go. All right. Here's another. Welcome, Michelle.
What's up, Michelle? How you doing?
Hey, how's it
I was gonna
going?
say, I don't know if she can hear us yet. There she is. Hey, welcome. I am waiting on a few more people that RSVP'd, and then we are going to get started. I'm so excited to be writing with people. I want to get some new poems started and hear some new poems, and I'm always down for that. So I can stop making Drew read all my poems.
I enjoy reading them. They're fire. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need fire in your life.
Okay, I am going to, I think I can post the link for the YouTube.
Are you in outer space?
Okay, so my sons love outer space. They do. And so this is their backdrop for when they do their classes and get to see their friends over Zoom, because they don't get to go out of the house too often.
You got the official Zoom backdrop then for,
Yeah.
I guess, telling people their rating or whatever. They said, because people, on public TV like CNN and stuff are having pretty crappy backgrounds.
Well, you can download any picture that you want. So they got Captain Underpants, they got the Science, they got Transformers, they got all kinds of backdrops. I'll let them choose. I meant to, let's see. How do I do this? Oh, that's what I want to read later. Trying to make sure I didn't miss any RSVPs. Because this crazy climate, I was like, I do not need somebody trying to hijack our poetry session. Okay, I got all 5 of y'all. That's good. Let's go to Facebook. And I think if I post this link in Facebook, then people will know that we're live on YouTube. There we go. Beautiful. Hey, all right. Hey, Heather. Can you hear me, Heather?
Here's my beautiful card.
Yes, I can hear you, Ray.
Awesome. How are you doing, beautiful?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Good. I am trying to post the link on Facebook so that people can see
This is shampoo.
write and share.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Shampoo that just realized. Look at that. Do you know what the one
I can't type them.
Dad, I want to show you something. How to put a rat on a rock.
There we
So
go.
that's you. So you want.
This is my old computer. So we're going to see if it's going to handle all I'm asking it to do. Maybe not. It's taking a long time to think about it. All right, there we go. Okay, wonderful. Well, I guess we have waited long enough, and if they are coming, they will show up at some point. So I am ready to start. Heather, have you been writing a lot? Heather.
Sorry. Yes, I have been writing a lot.
Good. I can't wait to hear some of it. So this will be our official kickoff here in just a second.
Heather, I think I've heard you at the Fifth Women, like were you in the, one of the people, like a year or two ago?
Me?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
I was in the audience.
Oh, great.
That
Oh,
annual performance thing that you guys do. Yeah.
yeah.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Michelle is quite the poet herself. She
Oh,
has an
goodness.
amazing book that is out that she put together. It's your poetry since what, middle school, you said, all the way?
Well, not that long, but it's 20 years. I'm 42.
Me too, girlfriend.
It's a good age to be. I
Oh,
don't feel
yes.
too old, but I feel like I'm old enough to say that I'm old.
Well, I'm older than you, so there you go. You're still young to me.
Young, old.
All right. When I say that this computer is slow, I mean, it is anciently slow. I am waiting patiently to pull up my document for tonight. I took all these wonderful notes, and now I can't pull them up. I mean, it might be reading from my phone. Okay. You want to move slow on me, I'll show you. New technology. All right. So it is 8:09 and I'm going to kick off at 8:10. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, yay. Drew is with us, but he is actually in 2 different virtual events at a time. So he'll be dipping in and out so that we can hear from him. And let me just, I'm gonna text the group real fast, the Zoom ID, just in case they are behind the times and don't pay attention to things that they should do.
What's Joe? I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, the rescue team. I'm riding in the car.
Meeting
Coming.
ID.
What is the problem?
When I first started doing Zoom, IDs were like phone numbers and they only had 10 numbers. Now they have 11, right? So you could tell there's so many more people using Zoom and having a meeting on Zoom. Oh. All right, well, let's get this party started then. Adaya, will you go get mommy's charger? Go get mommy's charger for her phone.
Where?
Upstairs next to my bed, next to my couch, like it was yesterday. All right. The joy of having children, you send them on errands.
Take this.
All right. I'm ready now.
The horse.
Well, welcome to the very first Write and Share. We're going to be doing this every month, and we'll have a different theme every month or a different writing prompt that we will work on and talk about. So The Fifth Woman is a collective of poets that writes to radicalize the souls of women in all of their expressions and forms. My name is Raya Sunshine, just in case you didn't know. I'm the executive director for The Fifth Woman, and I have been performing, writing, and mentoring poets for over 20 years in the Knoxville area. Tonight is about writing and sharing stories. We are especially dedicating this night's poetry to Breonna Taylor. Today would have been her 27th birthday. It is important that we say her name because in the early reports of her shooting, she was referred to as a suspect and her name was not even mentioned. So we want to make sure that we humanize all of the victims and say their names. So we want to give a name to those that have been so casually killed as if they were not human. No matter what topic you read on tonight, I will ask that you say her name or the name of another woman that was taken because of violence at the hand of police before sharing. That way we are giving honor to them. Breonna loved life, and so we want to celebrate her in every poem. Also, I want you to feel free to share any stories that you may have with the group. The session is being live streamed on YouTube, so if you have friends and family that want to watch but not necessarily participate, just let them know that they can go to the Fifth Woman Poetry YouTube channel. All right, so all of the formalities out of the way. The only thing I ask is that you mute yourself, because if I mute everybody, then it's hard for me to know when you want to talk. So if you just mute yourself, you can hit the space bar and it opens you up and you can speak. And I wanted to make sure that we started the night with a writing prompt. And so this will give people a little more time to join us, but we're going to start with a writing prompt. And in order to get there, I had some things I wanted to share with you. For me, as I did more and more research on Breonna, I just did not want to talk about her death, which was tragic enough. I wanted her to be more, and I wanted to talk about her life. So I found an article that talks about the great person that she was, and I want to read a few snippets from that. And then we're going to write on the writing prompt, I am Breonna Taylor. So at some point in the poem, I want you to use that phrase, but try and find the parallels between her life and yours, maybe some things that you hear that just really resonate with you. And so we're going to write, I am Breonna Taylor. So before she was a hashtag or a headline, before protesters around the country chanted her name, Breonna Taylor was a 26-year-old woman who played cards with her aunts and fell asleep watching movies with friends. That changed on March 13th when the police officers executed a no-knock warrant in the middle of the night and killed her in her apartment. Breonna Taylor's friends and families remember the woman they knew and loved, someone who cared for others and loved singing, playing games, cooking, and checking up on friends. She was a first responder who loved to sneak in a nap before her next shift. She would be 27 today. She was known to her friends as Bree, moved from Michigan to Louisville when she was a teenager, and most of her family moved there with her. Her aunt called her Mini-Me, and her uncle called her Breezy. She was a cool cat, is what they say about her. And the family often spent time together, and she liked to play games of Phase 10 and Skip Rope. She was really excited about the work that she was doing as an EMT during the COVID epidemic or pandemic. And so we want to make sure that we give her respect for being an EMT and a first responder because she was so awesome. So she said, working in healthcare is so rewarding. It makes me feel so happy when I know I've made a difference in someone else's life. I'm so appreciative for all the stuff that has helped my uncle throughout this difficult time and those that will continue to make a difference in his life. So she went to Western High School in Louisville and had two friends that she made there. They were called the Three Amigos. So that just gives you a little bit of background about who she was and how she lived. She was an amazing person that lived with her heart open wide, loved her friends and family deeply, and loved servicing people through her job. So now I'm going to give you guys some time to write your, or at least begin your piece. I am Breonna Taylor. All right, guys, I'm gonna give you about 1 more minute. And you don't have to be finished. I just want you to try and get to a place where you can stop and share. All right. Hey there. Does anybody want to go first? Hey, Taja.
Mute me. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh yeah.
So does anybody want to go first? Taja's here, Heather, Michelle, myself. I suppose I could read first. I'm actually not sure I even like the direction I'm going, but that is the point of a write and share. So we will, we'll see what's happening here. You know how we're doing on YouTube. All right. So I'm bouncing back and forth between screens. When I was 8 years old, we moved from Michigan to the South. Culture shock was evident as I was teased for my northern accent, but I came to love these Appalachian mountains, call them home, lay some roots in this place where freedom was battled to achieve. I find myself seeking to show love daily, only satisfied when I make a difference, only feeling worthy when the work I've done forces me to nap, because I am so exhausted at loving people and children. 15 years ago, when I was 27, I moved into my first apartment alone because family meant so much to me and I wanted a place we could gather. I made those sacrifices with no idea of what could have happened. The chance that blue could have entered without knocking and spread red, changing my entire life, killing dreams, but I made it through. And will be Breonna Taylor as I live with her spirit, sharing experiences and her story. And that's as far as I got. But I'm not sure that that's where I want to go. I see a ton of parallels between her and myself. And so just trying to find that place. But there we go. What do you think? Beat it up.
I like it.
You like it?
I like it a lot.
What do you like about it?
Let's see. I like how you started off with talking about like your family. Because that seemed to be a big part of her life, like just hanging out with family, and that's just like from a cultural standpoint, like that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I like that. Cool.
My car is too fast for it, Diane.
Jump in there, ladies. So the only thing we asked is that you let people finish what they're reading. That if you have any ideas or thoughts, that you just jot them down so that you can offer critiques and improvements, and then that you say something that you like before you beat up the rest of the piece. So that's how we workshop pieces. We say something that we like, and then you can dive in and tell me all the other things that I need to change.
Rhea, what I liked about it was you surprised me because I was not expecting you to go in the direction of her in the future. So that was a great surprise. I love that, actually. I think that's a great direction to go in. And I got nothing bad to say about it because now it's got me thinking about the what if.
Yeah. Cool beans.
I like the visual. Like I'm so stuck in what I was writing and thinking like, okay, someone's dead. And you start off on this like, you know, very visual, very like upbeat scene. So I just thought it was kind of
Thank you.
Yeah.
So nothing I need to change, nothing unclear. I'm okay. You can beat me up about it. Trust me.
I think for a poem, like part of it sounded more like a paragraph, just somewhere in the middle.
Okay, like which part?
I'm not good with memory, but it's just like at some point it sounded more like prose and a little less like poetry, but I'm not sure. The way you always say things, you read things really well. So, but I thought maybe in there was part of it that sounded more like
Okay.
too. But I mean, I think it was fine. That's
Okay.
the thing I noticed. It seemed like maybe it could.
They got a little too much like a story.
Yeah, like your part of it was notes or something.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. Thank you. Cool beans. Awesome. All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you want to go? That's fine.
I'll go because mine's like so different. So
I love it. I love it.
I'll just to let you know, like, because I don't want to paint anybody else's what I've got, but I've been handcuffed a bunch of times because I go psychotic sometimes, and so I call the police, and it's fine. I want them to help me, but you always have to get handcuffed. That's like the requirement. It's for some reason it doesn't always go well. It does now, but I don't even call them now. But when you get paranoid, sometimes you just call the cops. Like, so I've been really upset with that over the years a little bit because some people are really out of control when they call the cops, and I feel like bad stuff happens. They get killed too. So that's what I was thinking when I wrote this.
Okay.
So it's up against a wall, handcuffed, stone brick wall between me and them and her, Breezy. World-class citizen, provoked, character spilling from her guts. She's gutsy. She's mounted to head on a stick. Wish list is blue and red lights. They must back up. Undo drug wars, they're called. And her no-knock warrant. Where are the judge? They're here, they're there, they're me. But us cool cats lose our freedom to tyranny and stigma. I am Breonna Taylor.
Wow. That was amazing. So I really like where you drew the parallel between just these negative run-ins with police, like from yours to hers. And I really like where you said it spills out of her guts. That was so vivid because as I was reading some articles, they were saying like when they went in, there was more blood, there was more bullets than they had ever seen, even on a crime scene, which is ridiculous for somebody who's innocent. We won't even go there. So I think like that vivid, you painted such a vivid picture of that and how unnecessary it is. So I really like that. shucks, I want more. That's my critique right there. I would like for you to go even further.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Michelle, those last two lines were just ridiculously good. I don't have any critique except that they were just stunning.
The tyranny and stigma, that part.
I love you, Adara. So is you, James.
I don't like you.
I love you.
I'm sorry. I'm sure y'all hear my son in the background.
Dad, I just made a roofing car in Minecraft.
All right, Taja, you have anything for Michelle?
I liked it. I like the imagery that you're painting. I could actually see everything that you were saying. Like I had a mental picture, which was really, really good.
Yeah, very powerful mental pictures.
I just got going on. I don't think anything good. I don't even want to hear about it half the time. Just like, oh, you know. But I mean, there's like a kid in a wheelchair that was attacking a cop with a pencil, trying to stab him because he was, you know, mentally whatever, and he got killed. I think he can't be there.
Yeah, see, that's ridiculous.
Not good. Some of these things that happen are. I don't know. I like what you said. It just like
I'm done.
Need a little few more. Need about 3 more pieces.
Okay.
Done.
Who's next up? Do I have to flip a coin or just call on Taja?
Okay. I got you. There we go. Okay. It's called, of course, I am Breonna Taylor. Okay. I am Breonna Taylor. I was born on the day that you died in a whole other place, in a whole other place in time, but yet I feel connected to you. Not because we are of the same race, but rather because you are parts of me. I love family, friends, and the work that I do. As a teacher, I see the joy of the human spirit. I may not be an EMT, but I feel connected to you because just like you, I am a doctor in a classroom, a solver of little problems of huge, vivid 3-year-old minds. Like you, I wipe away tears, hear about fears, share strength in times of turbulence for little minds. Just letting them know that everything will be okay and that I love them every nerve. I am Breonna Taylor, as far as I've gotten.
Could you please stop hurting my belly horse?
I lost you. Where are they?
We're still here.
What I hear you, but I can't see you. Hold on.
My boy's too slow. Watch this.
It's not on my end, is it?
It just says something. I just see learn how on my end. What I did. All I did was switch screen.
I can see
Here you are. I see you. Never mind. I got you. Okay. You're straight.
Okay.
All right. There you guys are. I see you. Hello.
All righty.
Boom. There we are.
So I'll let somebody else start with Taja.
I really like how you went back and forth between you and her. I mean, it made it really clear picture of the similarity. And I was like, is that for real? You were born the day she was killed?
Yes. That was my birthday.
Yeah, you should really, really do something with this, you know, I think, because that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I just found out, like, just because I've been kind of following everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, she was killed on my birthday, which was also the day that COVID started. Yay, I turned 40.
Well,
it was a great day. It really was. I was like,
Taja. Gosh. You know what I loved about it, Taja, was that you were talking about healing little minds. That you do the same thing as a teacher as what she does. You and Rhea both do as a teacher what she did in healing people, and especially children, because people don't think about that. That was gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
It's really good to see you too, by the way.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Hey, it's been a minute.
So I did write down notes. So I absolutely love that you started with that, because that's such a shock. That's a shocker right there. You know, I love that you started with you were born the same day that she died. Because that just like opened me up like, whoa, okay. That's, you know, those parallels. And then where you started talking about wiping away tears, and having that same mission in a different capacity. I love that you connected those. In between, I feel like you started getting away from the poetry.
Okay.
Because you're a doctor and you're used to writing those full sentences out.
Right.
I feel like I was starting to get like the full sentence, like, okay, and this, and this, and this, and this. And so just maybe going through there and putting in some more of that imagery that you did such a good job at the beginning and the end of putting in, but putting that into that story in the middle. As you talk about family, maybe looking at some metaphors that you can use to find between your family and the time that you spend with family and how important that is to you as well.
Thank you.
No problemo. That's what we're
I
here
have a
for.
question. I think I've heard someone talk about metaphors at one of your poetry events. Like, is that something like all poems have practically? Is that what a poem is?
No, I think that sometimes, especially when you're talking about some harder topics, finding a metaphor that connects to people that may not always understand in your audience is what takes away arguability in a poem. So if you're telling somebody's story that other people might hear it and argue with it, if you can find a link that they can't argue with, which is through a metaphor or some other connection, then you take away that ability to argue and you bring about change in that person, because you change the way they view something that they thought was negative or either thought was positive before that situation by changing their view to something that they understand.
Okay.
Brilliant, Rhea. That's great.
Cool beans, Heather, you're up.
Okay. I'm writing that metaphor thing down. I don't know what to say. It's all gone in some ways, but I think I'm not forgotten. Somewhere I hear them say, I am Breonna Taylor. Life in, life out, in everyday streets. What do I say? Ought to be human. Hope found its value in health, putting life on the line, masquerading as change. But I'm not. I saved, every heart beating, touched in the body of my hands, in the wind, no, the breezy. I found my strength. Family found me. Hope deferred to help the sick. I did more in one stormy night than most in a lifetime, but that's okay. Because my memory is of them. Games at a table laid with the smile of uncle and auntie, so I could change the world. That's it.
I think we were just savoring your words. That was beautiful. All right, Michelle, I'll let you go first.
I just got along.
I don't know. I'm thinking now for Look At Women, like everything's a little bit like a song. So, I don't know. It's just very words flow into the next words, and the phrases are all beautiful and descriptive in a way. So I really liked it. I like to hear it again, so it was a little bit complicated. So I kept going back and thinking, first of all, I don't know this story. I haven't been following anything on TV or anything, so I just kind of I get like one email. I don't know that part of it. And then I was trying to, listen because to hear more about, who you are. So I thought.
Oh yeah, gotcha. I'd miss. Yeah, you wouldn't know because I study health, so unless I mention that, you wouldn't know that, and that didn't come out very clearly in the poem. So that's a good point. I didn't make that connection.
I think it might be clear, but I mean, I'm just saying I would like to hear it again. That's all. I have to read some of my stuff. Like,
We lost you, Michelle. I didn't hear the last thing you said. You muted yourself.
Oh, it was very good. I think it was just a complex. It was.
Your precious friends. Sorry.
All right. I love that you wrote from her point of view. That was awesome. Almost like she's looking over this moment in time where others are writing that they are her. That is just a beautiful picture. And then I love the line where you said, "I'm gone, but I'm not because I live on." That was amazing. Only because I know what you do. And so I want to see more of that. Like I want to see more Heather in the piece, and seeing that parallel between what you do with mental health counseling and what she did as an EMT. But I did love the way you flowed into her nickname when you talked about the breeze, and you flowed straight into Breezy. That was like awesome. I loved it. I was like, that was perfect. But I do want to hear more about that connection. What makes you feel like you are Breonna Taylor, or there's a piece of her that is, and that's that parallel, because we always, as fifth women, we want to be able to see that connection from one woman to the next, so that we can always be there to support each other. So I just want to hear that piece. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Tasha.
I liked the way that the poem flowed, Heather. It was really I liked the flow of it. I had to catch it at first, if that makes sense. For a minute there, I was like, wait a minute. then I caught what you were talking about, and I was like, oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, but I did like the way that it flowed, and it was very smooth. I liked that. I kind of agree with Raya. I definitely want to feel Heather too.
Yes.
There.
That's what we should.
You did a good job though.
You should have a stage name called Smooth, Heather. That's what.
Yeah, it was smooth. That was definitely smooth.
Because that's
It's
how
funny
Heather,
because
she
the
hits
page,
you.
the page poets always get on to me for doing that, being too smooth.
I like it. It works for me.
I got to talk to you about that, Ray, at some point, because you're always like, it just flow. I just go. That's good to know, though.
To each his own. I love your smoothness. We're gonna call you H Smooth.
Are you okay?
Smooth HD.
Ooh, I like that. Smooth HD.
Smooth HD.
Instead of having a PhD, you got a smooth HD. I love it. Awesome. Okay. Well, now I wanted to do an open time for any pieces that you guys are working on and wanted to share. So this is just our open share time. So since there's only 4 of us, I don't have to ask people to leave a note in the comments to let me know that they want to share. Just if you have something to share, just jump on in and let's hear it.
No, where are we going? No.
I'm gonna write a poem about doing Zoom calls with your children in the background.
I'll go.
A link about
I've got a
that.
piece.
All right, go ahead, Heather.
Oh no, sorry, I thought it was Taja. I can go. I'll read you a piece that I just recently wrote. I was working on a prompt to a photo of a bird, which sounds weird, I know, but anyway. All right, here's what it says. If I had a superpower, it would be flight, right after healing and resurrection of the dead. I wouldn't mind wings in my backbone, bones hollow and shallow, stronger than some minds, and I am no exception, of course. I could see the crags and crannies of my ancestors in the coldest north and hottest south without ever touching foot on stolen land. I could taste the freedom that only comes from seeing more than where I'm from, more than what I know, people different and whole and lasting. I would glide on the summer solstice and drink wisdom from the rainy Dreich, have my fill of the holy grace touched with earth's carefree hope. If I had a superpower, it would be flight, where I could lose and gain myself anew, yet reminiscent of all that I am and all that I've become. That's it.
Horse beats hell.
Awesome.
Horse beats hell. No.
Okay, does anybody have anything they want to say before I jump in here? 'Cause I love this process. Isaiah, dude, chill.
Isaiah, stop. You got 5 minutes. Stop.
Okay, so first of all, I love birds. And so birds as superheroes was just like amazing for me, as having a superpower of flight. That's so awesome. I love the repetition that you brought in at the end by tying it back to that first statement. And the imagery that you brought to life was just amazing, like making those parallels between like what a bird goes through and what you go through. And that connection to if you could fly, then it would help in this area. I kind of want to hear a little bit more there. And I guess that's about it, because it is an extended metaphor. So that's pretty awesome.
Thank you, Raya.
Yeah. Anybody else?
That's definitely not a spoken word piece. It's a page piece,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to make them. I'm trying to learn how to do like you can do, where you can bridge the gap between both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a learning process for me, for sure.
No, I could definitely see it on the page, and I can feel it when you read it as well.
Okay.
So, you know me, I'm always preaching about that inarguability, just to be able to make that connection so deep with self that nobody can argue it. So that's awesome that you started with that it's your choice. I almost would like to hear why you wouldn't choose anything else in there as well. That was
Okay.
like, it would be really powerful as well. God, why not be invisible?
I like the vocabulary. I really like hollow, resurrection, stolen again. And you're thinking of like soaring over, when you think of flying, right? Like I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm like going wherever.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but it's all that you brought to it, and I think that's a metaphorical way. I think it's good. I think
like your
one,
bird poem.
sorry, like one little input is I thought the last sentence may be a little bit like go back to find that vocabulary. All that I am and all that I become. There's a little being, I don't know. I thought it sounded good, but I just thought maybe you could really make it a little bit different
Sure. Yeah.
because it was just like
OVA's Power Slam.
Make it a bit stronger. Yeah.
Of the pigs.
So I have a question. Where's that trampoline at? Oh, no, sir.
My daughter did it.
Be quiet, because you was into it so much.
This pure comedy.
And I try to tell people it's just straight comedy at my house. You know, we've been in the house together for 13 weeks. I'm telling you, it's just straight comedy over here.
Guys, are you ready to bounce up and down?
All right. All right, Taj, you had one that you wanted to share?
Oh no,
Okay. No. She said, don't do that.
no,
Okay.
no. I got a lot floating around up in here, but not anything that I've actually put on paper yet.
Hey, I
A lot
understand.
of thinking time.
Stuff floats around in my head for years. Sometimes it seems until I pin it down on the page, and then it's what I need. So I have two that I want to read. One is a page poem. So how it reads, I don't know. But it's a series of haikus that is a poem. Yes, that makes sense to only me. So it's like every part of the poem is a haiku. So I don't know. We'll see if you guys like it. Come on, silly computer. Okay, it's doing it again. That's what happens when you have an ancient. Oh, there it goes, right there. Found it. Okay, so, and I'm reading this because Heather shared her bird poem. This was my bird poem, and now it's gone again. I love computers, not for real. Okay, I'm gonna just go back here and pull it up on my phone because that's what happens when you try to read a poem. Nope, not that one. Recent. So I am working on like the poems that I've written during this hiatus. And so this is one of them that I wrote one morning. Looking on a pond, I watch a small red finch sing beautiful freedom. In the midst of rain, he calls out a praise to God. Nothing stops his song. That teaches me peace. Nothing to worry about. God always provides. Can I be that bird? Trusting that God is with me, taking care of me. Whatever I need, he promised to supply it. I need only trust. Fly free, little finch. Not a worry in the world, you taught me today. Letting go is peace. Freedom is a state of mind. I will trust the Lord. He has never failed, keeping every promise, offering me grace. Outside my window, he lets me see his glory, looking on a pond. Okay, hang on just a second. All right, Tay. Sorry about that. My mother calls all the time. Okay, so let me know what you think. Repeat like haikus. Did they flow together? Does it make sense? Trying
I
to do
think it
better.
made sense, and I think it's a real boost to, reminder of like faith, and it reminds me. I don't even know where it is, but it's somewhere in there. I've read it a million times. The little birds of the air. God takes care of the birds of the air. I mean, that's it right there. That's the poem for that verse. It was perfect.
Cool beans.
Ray, I've just been reading a whole thing about that, about how it's so difficult to wait and how we want change and we have to wait on God. And that was perfect. Like if that little series of haikus just flowed together so well, you wouldn't even know that it was a series of haikus. So, and also just that flow that you were talking about earlier, that rhythm is great. It's really beautiful.
What I'm doing.
Thank y'all. Okay. Hey, Drew, welcome back.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. So sorry I missed the early first part.
It's okay. We have been having a wonderful time sharing poems.
Okay.
I just shared, it's a series of haikus that makes itself into one poem. So that's what I just read, and was taking feedback on that, on whether or not it flowed well or not. Because haikus automatically, kind of wrap you into that 575, but trying to get beyond just the haiku and tell a whole story. So I couldn't write just one, and so I wanted hopefully that they flowed. So the next piece I'm reading is the piece that Drew has already heard. But I constantly, want to hear feedback on it because I want it to be the best that it can be before I record it. So this is the spoken word piece. It's called After the Black.
Yes.
Did Tasha leave? Oh, she's just stepped away. Okay, here we go. There are a few things that are obvious from a first glance at me. The most obvious thing to see is that I am Black, and I suppose you could stop there. You could allow that to put a wall between you and I, or you could see it as an immediate connect with me. However, I fear that you will have only scratched the surface of my essence. What will you do after the Black? After you have judged me based on preconceived ideas of sisterhood or separation, wait a minute, this is the wrong version of the poem. I was like, wait a minute, I changed that line. Hold on, guys. I need to get to the right one. If I hadn't got there and been like, wait a minute, I changed it, I would have kept on reading. Okay. Here is the right version of the poem. That's what happens, Drew, when you got all these versions.
You got all these edits right here. You got so many different edits. You're like, is it an A?
Floating off. Floating around.
2.5.
Oh, okay. Here's the right one. There are a few things that are obvious from a first glance at me. The most obvious thing to see is that I am Black. And I suppose you could stop there. You could allow that to put a wall between you and I, or you could see it as an immediate connect with me. However, I fear that you have only scratched the surface of my essence. What will you do after the Black? After you have judged whether I match or clash your perception, following that initial reaction, will you care to know my story? Because you can't know me immediately. You can't know immediately that I identify as heterosexual. You can't know that I am married with children, that I wish daily that my children could meet the man that raised me and climb into his lap and call him Pops, that my mother speaks to me every time I cross her mind because her spirit is connected to me and she is my first hero, There is no way for you to know that I see the world in poetry and numbers, because they are the only things that are real and tangible to me, and that my love is expressed in one of these two ways to every person in my life. What will you miss if you never make it past the black? How many hugs that can change your day or mood will you miss out on? How much inspiration and strength will you fail to ever see? How many problems will you never solve? How much understanding will you miss? How much love? If you only see me as comrade or foe, have you truly looked? I am broken by the people that spread hatred through their gaze, judging, pulling triggers or closing doors, forgetting to see human before difference, spreading lies and division without first thinking golden, finding reasons to remove a story by only looking skin deep, religion deep, party deep, sexuality deep, paycheck deep, for whatever you have chosen your black to be. What will it take for you to see after it? To see one another as humanity, to know that somebody has loved or been loved by another, looked up at the same sky and seen the same sun, gazed into the night and shared the same stars, closed their eyes to sleep or die and met the same darkness. We are all looking for the light, looking through mirrors to see ourselves as more than just a list of black that somebody may not accept. I've learned to love myself. My dark skin and coiled hair, I find power in its energy. I don't always fit in where it seems I should. I keep quiet on issues until I can write about them. I struggle to let people in to love me, but I give love freely, trusting that I will never run out of love for myself. I fight my body against its attempts to break down daily. I am a survivor of more than this blackness. My father taught me that I was black and beautiful, making sure that I understand that there is more after the black. There is beauty deeper than this melanin, more to me than the black. I will never allow myself to stop there or even see it as weakness or flaw. It is me as much as my quirky personality and belief in God without limitations. It is the understanding that I am made in that image and have no limitations. I am creation made perfect, just the way I am. So I embrace the flaws and imperfections, the hard days and the glorious transitions. There is nothing wrong with any part of who I am. Every attribute is marked with a part of what exists. I am beautiful beyond the black. I am Mother Earth with treasures in my words, giving birth to lightning, oceans, and fire. There is prophecy in my gardens. My father named me Rhea, calling me to motherhood. I am more than that initial glance, and you will never know until you see me after the black.
Come on. Come on. Yes.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Michelle, I absolutely love you. Woohoo! I was in there.
There's so much clarity to your poetry.
You said that. Say that again, baby.
Clarity, like, you know, it's clear.
It is clear?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, okay.
I think I wrote down just about everything that you said because I want to learn how to write like that. Rhea, my God, I'd bow down if you were right in front of me. Come on, girl. That's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. That's why you are the queen. I mean, you said spread hatred through their gaze, and it's like, yep, okay. And then you said I keep quiet until I can write about them. And that's something that's been going on for me all week. And it's just like, boom, there you said. Gosh, I could go on. I'll shut up because I could go on.
This is the bathroom. Well, this is the cold bathroom.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like
This is the lobby. Now I'm gonna take it. This is the board's back.
beautiful to see it like come off the page, like hear it off the page and reading it, and just hear it like where.
Yeah, so you can't just go deal with it.
I think it.
Now you create work, I gotta come correct. I didn't ask you to do this.
Does even reading
I
it.
literally didn't ask you to do this.
Drew, say that one more time. I'm going to mute my mic because I missed some of it.
Oh, it's okay. I was just saying that it feels even better hearing it than I took away from reading it the first time. So it's a lot of things that just like really resonated, that really stood out even more, just even with the way that you were carrying with certain words, inflection with certain words. So it was really beautiful to hear it.
Thank you. You can pick it apart some more. I know you got some stuff.
Well, okay, so I guess the questions for you is, one, do you feel it's done? Is there more to the story? Two, in this edit, what do you feel is different from the last edit?
I feel like in this edit, I was able to change around some of the words so that it wasn't as obvious, but it was still clear.
Mm.
And I went deeper. We had talked about just that list of questions of what do I feel people miss when they stop at the Black, just with me. And so I went deeper with that list of questions because I feel like there's so much more. And I don't know if it's done, Drew. I don't know that this piece is ever done. I have been really mulling a lot of these ideas around in my head for months and months and months before I put them on page. And then with everything that's been going on, it's almost like it just added to it even more, you know? So.
Yeah, I think maybe in knowing all the things that are happening right now, I think in hearing it, I think that's why I took a lot more away from it than when I previously read it. And also, I mean, there was more edits, so of course, there's things that you can adjust. Like it feels like it place where like you're like it's so, you know what I mean? It's like a deeper connection right now, especially with everything that's happening. So. And also, like I said before, After the Black, like that's a book, it's a novella, it's whatever you want it to be. Like that's a collection of poems. And I would definitely read all those because it's like you hear a line that like you haven't heard anybody stumble upon. Like it's so simple, After the Black, but it's like there's so many things that can follow that statement, and yet the metaphor in itself is just a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful line. It's just like, yeah, what is After the Black, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. Maybe that's just it. Maybe this is just the beginning, and I just continue to revisit that question over and over and over again because there's so many different things, and I think I don't know that I did a good enough job to take away from this piece that Black isn't necessarily the skin color. For me, it's the first thing you see, and it's the first thing that a lot of people judge you on. But for somebody else, they're Black, whatever their Black is. And I know I said it in one line, like whatever your Black is, like what will you do if you never get past it? You know, for some men, it's oh, that's a woman, and they never get past it. That's a woman, you know, and that's their Black. Or you know, for some heterosexuals, they can never get past the fact that somebody's homosexual, or you know, for somebody trans, they can never get past the fact that somebody's straight, you know, whatever, you know, it gets flip-flopped. Everybody has their own sense of what their Black is, and you might accept every Black person you see, but you might reject a child, you know, like what is your Black? So I don't know that I did a good job of saying that. I need to visit.
I took that away. I definitely I resonated with that. So
Okay.
Ray, I wanted to say one more thing. In the time that I've known you, which is shorter than everyone else, that's the most vulnerable I've ever heard you. I don't know if that helps at all, but in that definitely connects with an audience that
We went to play Flash.
maybe doesn't know you as well as other people or as long as other people. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, I think are you speaking?
Taja, do you have anything? You're muted.
There we go. I'm unmuted. Sorry. Yeah, I always like to hear you read, and like just because of the depth of the things that you say. And it's like, I don't know, I guess thinking about the whole issue of Black, I never really thought about it. I guess because I am Black, you know, I've never really seen it from the other perspective that you were talking about, which was what made it even better. And yeah, you do open up a whole lot, which I really, really like. I always like hearing you read anyway, but yeah, I would say just keep it going. Like it just keep like adding to it and adding more depth to it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think, Drew, at one point you had talked about like what gets me to that brokenness, where I talk about the fact that I'm broken.
Yeah.
And I think maybe, yeah, that is a place where I can dive in a little deeper.
It like this piece actually reminds me a lot. There's a rapper named Smino. He's from St. Louis. I don't know if you know Smino, but if you know, you should look him up. But he has this collection called Black Swan, right? And in that album, he has multiple songs that start with Black. He has like Black Jupiter, Black Swan, Black Love, Black Healing, like, and so it's like it makes me think about what this piece could look like, or pieces could look like from after the Black.
Okay.
Like, so maybe it could be after the Black, or after what, like after sexuality, or after class, or after, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
thinking about like a series that could be evolved from this.
I like that. I like that a lot, especially since I'm working on a new album.
Okay.
So that works. Give me a ton of ideas. Move forward.
The album. This could be the whole album right here. After the Black, that's a fire album too. I'm like, give it to me. I'm here for it. Here.
Michelle, did you have anything that you wanted to share to workshop?
Yeah, I have one poem that I want to say I wrote it like a month ago, and it's a little different style of writing, and I guess it's meant to be read. It's a little complicated and it's long, but I'm gonna go ahead and read it because I'd like to get some feedback on it.
Okay, do you have it on a screen? Do you want to share your screen so we can read along with you? Would that help you?
Oh, well, it's on a website, so then can I do that? Can I pull
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. I just have to give you permission to share your screen, and then that way we can read it along with you.
That's way cool. That'll be majorly helpful.
All right. No. Hit the wrong thing. Okay. Okay, I think you should be able to share it now. So down at the bottom, you just hit the button that says share screen, and then it'll share your computer screen.
Huh. Let me try it one more time. Okay.
Mm.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
So you
Yeah,
see-
absolutely.
Okay, because I still see me. Okay. I'll go ahead. It's called A Little Piece of Isis Within Me. They say before you are born into this world, you choose yourself, what you will be dealt in life, who you will become, what you will finish, and that is your destiny if you conquer it. This last timed event, they took away her soul within me, Isis. Yet they left a little piece of her within me in case I might conquer my destiny. She sees through my eyes, and the hurt of the world is within her soul. She is a warrior, a lover, a maker of treaties, and I a seat to her pain, a partaker in her mist, alive with understanding and confusion about my destiny within it all. She takes off the covering before my eyes and fills my mind with understanding, and my spirit swells. The demons swoon down, and I mingle with them and offer healing. My hand touches his chest, and the pain bounces through my heart, and he feels better, and the dirtiness and darkness tenses me. I tightly hold on to all his responsibilities for justice and offer him my hand in friendship. Later, the darkness will fade from my heart, and the evil will melt away. That is how we finish things, her, Isis, and I. We catch stories, data, facts blowing in the wind our way, and we tell of it at risk. And our music resounds among the trees, to the neighbors, through the world wide webs, to the Masons and Illuminati, to the nations and their military intel, to the have-nots and the commoners, to the industrious, to the friend and to the foe, to the mafia and the royalties, to the Pope. Everyone is dismayed and upset and riled up, and they spit on me and her, Isis. We're out of control, reckless again, they say. To ashes her and I came from, to ashes shall we return. And so the warrior went to war, and the lover made love, and the treaties were signed, whatever they were. And I, seated in great pain, a partaker in the mist, alive with understanding and confusion about my destiny within it all, decided to let go of any particular outcome. So they whisper in my ear now certain things. This is your destiny. Some say you made a royal mess of it, but you were born a healer and you healed. Your life that was in danger will now be okay. You are strong. And finally, they say, you always want to hear that the world is going to be okay, but that is not true. The world hurts. But also what I need to hear, they finally say to me, your service to something greater is nicely arranged in order, like a house is decorated to look a certain way and it looks nice. So the little piece of her, Isis, that is within me is integrated, and my shadow past of confusion has been set aside for wakefulness, and my lover life and those that I love are alive within me and beside me, and while I tempted the gods to punish me or do away with me, they have gifted me deliverance and allowed for me to have peace, because we all believe in something greater. Whether the warrior, she, Isis, will rise again within me is not my choice, for it may be my destiny. So the little piece of her, Isis, is silent for now. Silence, for now life is common again and the music has faded.
Wow.
Okay, there we go. So that is lovely. And I am going to try and remember everything I wrote down without looking at the poem again. Okay. Oh, the very beginning is very vivid, and it brought about just I don't know, like almost a war within myself, even at the beginning, where they say that you choose yourself before you're born. I think that's how that line went, right? They say before you are born.
Yeah, Michelle, do you mind just leaving that poem up? I would like to just like go back through it.
Okay. Yeah. If you could leave it up, that'd be great.
Sorry.
Oh no, you are fine.
It was destiny, but yeah.
okay, they say before you are born into this world, you choose yourself. That was just a powerful thing for me. What you will be dealt in life, who you will become. And I was like, wow, they actually say that? Like you get that choice? That hits so differently, I think, with different people from different cultures. I think that'll automatically draw people into this point. So I love that you started there. I got down to where you said, my hand touches his. And for me, like page wise, I wanted to see like a break there. Just because I don't know if the thought from the beginning of that stanza or that section matched in with when you were talking about touching his chest. So I kind of wanted to see like a line break there, kind of like you have the other ones.
Yeah, that's perfect. Good idea.
And then you use a lot of pronouns. You say like her, Isis, and I, and then another time you say she, Isis. I almost either want you to choose and not use both of them. You could use Isis sometimes and then use the pronoun at other times. I feel like that will kind of add that creativity, maybe is the word I'm looking for. And then there was another part. Oh, you said arranged.
And Ray, is it
Go ahead.
in this moment? Like, I think about when we're switching between between first person and third person, what is the choice? Why is this decision being made to switch between whose perspective we're looking at or the tenses, right? And so like, I think about in those moments, like if you thinking, and this is just an offering, but like thinking about like, what is causing me to switch from I to her to she, right? Like what is that switch for you and where does that come from?
Yeah, it's almost like you're almost not possessed, but you have this spirit inside of you of this Isis. So it is like a unity thing, but it's also separate.
Okay.
So almost like,
be clear then, probably up here.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like even from the beginning, like it seems
there.
Yeah, right in that second stanza, that when you first introduce her, right? And so like being like intentional about like why, what is propelling me to now switch to her? Just so the audience is clear as to like what is the motivating factor that we now hear her coming, right? So like almost like you're giving like the context clues. Now we're about to shift. So I want to make sure this audience and this reader rolls with me. Yeah.
That's good. And then if you scroll down, you're talking about, you say arranged, and it's in quotations, I think, or either I put it in quotation. But you say, there it is, aha, right there. You said your service is something greater, to something greater is nicely arranged. And then you define the arranged, but you have a simile there. I don't think that you need to define it. I think you can flow straight into that simile because it defines it. So you use that simile like a house is decorated to look a certain way and it looks nice. That is your definition in there. So
to get rid of that range isn't in order. So.
Yeah. Oh, that was all.
Thanks for giving me specific. So that's good.
Michelle, there's a line that you have in there about justice, his justice, or taking on his justice for his, can you find that for me?
There.
I tightly hold on to all his responsibilities for justice. I think that is, it's an astounding line. And I it almost could stand by itself. Like, I think you need to maybe break after it or right before it, like just make it stand by itself because it's so powerful.
So just actually make it like its own paragraph or whatever.
Yeah, like its own little stanza.
Yeah,
It
while
is
you're
a-
talking about him, it's all of that is so powerful right there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Putting your hand on his chest and all of that.
Yes.
I wanted that to be separated. Yeah.
Yeah. It is such a whole, yeah, Ray is right. But that just is like, wow.
So I may also be able to offset it or something too if I bring that section out.
Yes. I think it's so strong and I wish I had written it.
I love the fact that in this same section that you have, she takes off her covering before my eyes and fills my mind. In that whole section, there's so much beautiful imagery that you're using, and it's really beautiful and it's really dope. And I wish, like, I kind of want to see, like, what does it look like if you get more? Like, if you talking about the covering before she takes off the covering before my eyes. Like, what does the covering feel like? Like, does the covering have like a particular texture to it, right? Like, I think about because, and the only reason I bring this up is because my spirit swells, and spirit swells is such a beautiful imagery, and it's like combining something that I would not think about that well, and now I'm like, I kind of want to see more of it. You know what I mean? So that's an offering to you of like thinking about like maybe there's other places I can explore different types of tapping into senses. And also you have like my hand touches his chest. Like there's a lot of like touching and sensory being used. And I'm like, okay, so what are some other ways that you can go even further in the use of that?
Or may even just change it, not even just keep adding to it, but change it. You think? You know, parts of it. I mean, that one stanza here is, only this much now.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's the place where you can go deeper. So if we're saying you're going to separate it out at my hand touches his chest, then take that beginning and really delve into like the covering and what it was, like what could it have been, and the understanding that caused your spirit to swell, like delving into that to create this swooning demon. I think that's like the dichotomy of a demon actually swooning. That just is.
This is what it feels like to be in another reality. So that's why this poem is very difficult. But
no, I love it. I think that you've done a great job.
This poem is like in a different reality, like maybe imagining how do we move in the space in a different reality, right? Like how does the space feel? Like it's almost like yeah. Just how does the space feel? Like what makes this feel like a different reality? And how can I use that in my in my writing as the writer, like to allow the audience to feel like this is a alternate reality. And also just to add to you, also again, just offerings. Thinking about you're using so much beautiful alliteration, like in this particular section that we're in, and especially in moments like spirit swells, swoon down, dirtiness and darkness. I think there's another one. Okay, maybe those two are the ones that stuck out. But maybe thinking about, so like, I don't know if that was by choice or if I have it, but if it was by habit, then making the choice and then choosing more alliteration.
Using more what?
Using more alliteration. So like she takes off the what covering, like what kind of covering is it? You know what I mean? Is there something, you know what I mean? Like thinking about how each thing can be, one, help expand how this alternate reality feels, but also on page, how it can just create like kind of more beautiful colors as the audience reading it.
So it needs more clarity, and then I can't think of the word, but it's like It's like it's missing the point almost. Like it's I can't think of the word, but it's there's something missing in there. It's disjointed a little bit.
But maybe, but also
not explained.
In alternate reality, like disjointed is not bad, right? But it's like
that's not the goal though.
Choosing disjointed, and if we are, like, how can we go further in making it even more disjointed, right? Because it's like it's kind of like when you put your toe into water, right? Like you only get that one toe feels it, but if you put your whole body in it, then everything feels it, right? So like going completely in with it, if the disjointed is what you're going for, go all the way.
It's not. But I think, yeah, it's I can't think of the word. It's not incognito, but anyway.
Gotcha.
I think I unmuted myself. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool. Hopefully that gave you just a few things, Michelle. Everything's just an offering. So of course your art, and I love your piece, and the way, you know, I have your book, the way you put things on the page is always good. So Drew, do you have anything?
Yeah, actually I do got some things. Let's see. I feel like I'm gonna give a poem and I'm gonna give a rap. But let's do the Searching My Rage one. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up on the screen so y'all can read along too. All right. Okay. 7 days. All right, cool. Can y'all see that? Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It goes like this. Today, I let my rage be beautiful. Felt no need to dress it up. Did not care how it looked or who stood shook. I just let it be, and it was beautiful. Today, I let my rage be powerful. Left these hands to pray in a clenched fist, left this face to smile with a tightened jaw, did not care about wearing a mask. Because what is a mask to a Black person if not something we've been wearing all our lives? Today, I let my rage be truthful. I let it tell me I was tired. I let it explain to me the term exhaustion. Let rest become my granny. Start saying shit like, baby, you better close that front door before you let all my good air outside. Realized I never understood what a good air felt like because I've been running all my life. Today, I let my rage be a sounding board. Let it listen to all the times oppression made its home in this body. Times where the road ahead grew into the fork in the road. Make America catch these fades again or use the right to remain silent. And sometimes I question my choices, and other times I wonder why God left us such limited options. Today, I let my rage be joyful. I let it be an African proverb on days where I need humor to be my home. For we all know that white folks will always clap on the 1 and 3, where Black folks find salvation on 2 and 4. My rage can sound like a soul clap. It can sound like Nuck if you buck. It can sound like Cash Money doing it for the 99s and 2000s. It can sound like Kendrick Lamar's All Right, but at the same time, it could sound like Amazing Grace. It can sound like Lift Every Voice and Sing. It can sound like We Shall Overcome. It can sound like Hold On, a Change is Coming. And don't this rage sound like it's a total praise? Today, I let my rage be wisdom. Let it remind me of the family that came before. Remind me of the ancestors that made the brick I step on. Remind me of the bodies that were used as mortar. Remind me of the resilience that sealed this nation together. Remind me that God lives in all of us. How we make magic out of mud, communities out of clay, education out of emptiness, and still rest on the 7th day. Today, I let my rage be holy. I let it be strong. I let it be quiet. I let it be still. I let it be a flame. I let it be a dance. I let it be a cry. I let it be. And it was beautiful. Cool. So yeah, that's that piece. That's that piece. Yeah. It's what, you know what? This is what I would like to do. Can I share this? So I shared this piece, and can I share another edit? And I would love to hear like your feedback between the different edits. That would be like super helpful for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've been wanting to get you on the phone and do this.
Yeah.
I was like, it's perfect. Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I needed.
Here I is. Here I is. All right, hold on. Let me find this Drew edit. So yeah, so I have two different versions of this piece. I've been working to try to find working on more pieces for publication. And so this piece is a piece that I've been working on, and kind of been going back and forth about like different edits of this piece. So here is another version of this piece, and I definitely want to know like which one definitely resonates more with you, what sticks out from the two different pieces, and one, is the story still the same? That's a really interesting point I want to hear. So it goes like this. Today, I let my rage be beautiful. Felt no need to dress it up. Did not care how it looked or what ground it shook. I just let it be. And it was beautiful. Today, I let my rage be powerful. Left these hands to pray in a clenched fist, left this face to smile with a tightened jaw, took to the streets in strength and love to answer freedom's call. Today, I let my rage be truthful. I let it tell me I was tired. Let it explain to me the term exhaustion. Let rest become my granny. Started saying stuff like, baby, you better close that front door before you let all my good air outside. Realize what a privilege it is to breathe this good air when many of my family members have died. Today, I let my rage be a sounding board. Let it listen to all the times oppression made its home in this body. Times where the road ahead grew into the fork in the road. Sometimes I question my choices. Other times I wonder why God seems to leave us such limited options. Today, I let my rage be joyful. My rage can sound like a soul clap, can sound like Nuck If You Buck, can sound like Cash Money doing it for the 99s and 2000s, sound like Kendrick Lamar's All Right, but at the same time, sound like Amazing Grace, sound like Lift Every Voice and Sing, sound like We Shall Overcome, sound like Hold On, a change is coming, and don't it sound like this rage is total praise? Today, I let my rage be wisdom. Let it remind me of the family that came before, remind me of the ancestors that made the brick I step on, remind me of the bodies that were beaten on that mortar, remind me of the resilience that sealed this nation together, remind me that God lives in all of us, black, white, and in every color, how we make magic out of mud, communities out of clay, education out of emptiness, and still rest on the seventh day. Today, I let my rage be holy. I let it be strong. I let it be quiet. I let it be still. I let it be a dance. I let it be a cry. I let it be a protest. I let it be a sigh. I let it be. And it was beautiful. Q, Q, Q. So that's the piece, and those are the two different edits.
I love it. Okay. I will let everybody else go before me.
Okay, okay. And let me know if you need me to pull the swing back up. I can definitely pull it back up.
Can you put the first one back up again?
Yes, I definitely can. Hold on one second, I gotta get to it. All right, boom.
Lord, that's what happens when you live with three men. Y'all can still hear them, and they upstairs.
We can still hear them. They're good. They're good.
All right, keep going down.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the second one. It
Okay.
mentions that your family members have died, right? And that's not in this one.
No, that's not in this one.
And the only other thing I was thinking, like, it could go back up again.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember if like the mask, like if that related to the fact that we're wearing masks right now.
So the mask line is, yes, in reference to wearing a mask now, but also the mask that Black people have to wear to kind of navigate through spaces. And it's all really about like filtering ourselves, not allowing us to show up as our full selves, especially in like, you know, corporate America or spaces that are very like white centered, not feeling the freedom to like really show up as your true self. And so that's where that reference to mask comes from. And it's actually like it's a quote that's been used like by W. Du Bois, talks about it a lot, about the mask that Black people often wear in life.
I think it's good for right now. I think like in 5 years, people won't remember about the link to that. I mean, just the one sentence, did not care about wearing a mask. But I don't know. I like the other one. I don't know, but I think they're really awesome, both of them.
Cool. Thank you.
And I thought it was personal that you shared that one aspect in the other one about the death.
Yeah, well, that aspect is one, of course, thinking about COVID as well, but also thinking about it kind of has a dual meaning. And thinking about, you know, a lot of our brothers and sisters are, you know, non-conforming folks who have passed away to racial injustice as well too, and thinking of them as part of our family, you know what I mean? So it can kind of it has a dual meaning to it. And of course, thinking about Eric Garner and George Floyd both saying they can't breathe. So there was a lot of layering in that line.
Well, I think it's neat how you're taking rage and you're expressing it in all these ways, even to like praise worship songs. I don't know. It's just like, you know, the tightened jaw, clenched fists. You know, you talk. I mean, it's just like there's so many ways you take the rage that's very powerful, and it's not all over the place at all. It all runs together. It seems like perfectly in both of them.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the big thing with this piece for me was just, I was on a call on Saturday for Movement for Black Lives. And there was a homie of mine, Phil, who is an organizer with this group Dream Defenders down in Florida. And he asked this question about how often do we investigate our rage? And that was something that I was like, that question kind of hit me. And so Sunday, I just kind of sat with that question and these words kind of just poured. But thinking about rage can be a spectrum. It does not always need to look like anger. And rage can look like joy. It can look like wisdom. It can look like truth. You know what I mean? So just exploring the versatility of rage and the way that we can look at it or not look at it in that way.
Yeah, and you're gonna share this? Do you have a venue to share it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in talks with some folks out in Boston about a couple different school publications that are looking at picking it up.
I think it's good, like even if it's just putting it out there on social media, because it's like, I don't know, I'm like, why not have the poets, you know, do the expression instead of, you know, articles, you know, why not have a poem that's so much more powerful?
Yeah, it should be on the news.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm sending it to CNN.
Hey.
Anderson Cooper will be like, oh. I do it all right.
Like, I can't read this one. I can't read this one.
Going.
Yeah. But thank you.
Drew, I'm Heather, by the way. I'm in the fifth woman with you. I'm the newest member, so.
It's nice to meet you, Heather.
Nice to meet you. Remind me to never go after you when we're on stage. Because unless I'm just being, you know, my really weird, funny self, because this is so good.
Thank you.
I actually like this version, but I like Michelle's point about, I like this version. I mean, I don't just like this version. I embarrass myself with how excited I get about the poets and poetry. So that's what you're going to get used to with me, is just embarrassing you and me and everybody else.
I appreciate it.
I get Michelle's point about talking about your family and your wider family and death. So maybe there's some way you could combine that, but if not, this in and of itself, this version is fantastic.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
There's the section where you talk about mud. It's just like, wow, it's really, and I guess because I'm a community activist, so that rings, the whole thing rings throughout the whole process. And the fact that you are expressing your rage, but you're not coming across, you know, a lot of times people take anger and turn it into just, you know, they're just an angry person, or they're just a rageful person, but you're not. You're talking about rage in a way that is just thorough. And then you bring the community in, and that's just fantastic.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Drew.
Hey, Taza.
Hey. I loved the line, the grandma line was like one of my favorites because it gave me that image of my dad's grandma, my dad's mom, and the types of things that she used to say. So that was like one of my favorite lines. And the mask imagery was like so awesome. Because I kind of got to thinking about the mask and all of the different ways that we think about a mask. I mean, as far as just us as a people, like the way that we have to kind of code switch depending on what kind of environment we're in.
Yes.
So, you know, like if we're in one environment, we know we have to act this way, but if we're in another environment, we have to act this way. If you're with your friends, you know, you can kind of kick it and be like, chill, but you know, it just all depends on the situation. So I thought that that's what I thought about when I thought about the whole mask imagery.
Yeah, thank you. And that's exactly where I was going for.
Yeah, and it does come through actually. And Raya, it kind of reminds me of when Virginia's talking about Gray Girl.
Yeah, exactly.
It does come through, yeah.
Is it my turn? Okay, so between the two, I do think that you are saying the same message. And I said this even in my text message. It's almost like we caught you at two different moments. And the way I saw it is like sometimes I get so angry at my husband, right? And I could just go right at the initial anger and just say everything and get it all out there. Or I can go for a walk around the block. And when I come back, I temper it so that it's a little more acceptable.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt. I felt like that first version was that right now I'm here, I'm telling you about this rage, I'm telling you about how I feel about everybody, and it's all coming out in all of the different forms. It's just all coming out. And then I felt like the second one was like, okay, I'm gonna go take a walk around the block and I'm gonna come back. You're gonna still feel the rage. You're still gonna feel how upset I am. You're still gonna feel all the things I feel, but I'm going to say it in such a way that it's more palatable and you're more accepting of it. Because the first way might incite you, whereas the second way, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, now I hear that. So that's the difference in the two versions. But if you go that first, maybe it's the second day. Second day, yes. Okay, so the second day where you talk about what is a mask to a Black person, if not something we've been wearing all our lives, I want that in the second version as well. Right? That line is so powerful. I want it in both versions. So it's like, I wanted to like pull them both up next to each other and then like pull some of the stuff from the first one over into the second one. So yeah, so I kind of wanted like to do that. So the second one, when you get to, is that the, yeah. So that whole stanza right there, it's so powerful because you say powerful, yes, but then you use these pictures of a clenched fist, a tightened jaw, which makes power seem like something that has to be closed. And that in order to be powerful, it's exhausting almost. And so I love that. I almost want more in that stanza.
Okay.
Because that stanza is so big. Like, yes, this is why my fists are balled. Yes, this is why my tight, but that's exhausting. Like when you sit when in that position, it is exhausting. If you just hold your fist clenched for a long period of time, your muscles get tired. Like it's an exhausting position to be in. So I just kind of I want more in that powerful stanza.
Which is actually interesting because when I was writing it, I was thinking about, I've been really trying to play more with like antithesis a lot more. And so thinking about like, what is the duality between clenched fist and prayer?
Like that's good. Yes.
How are the opposites, how can they live together, right? And so I do the same thing with prayer and a clenched fist, and do the same thing with a smiling with a tightened jaw, right? Thinking about something that on surface should come natural and be relaxing, but at the same time, it's actually more tiresome to actually do the act.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the juxtaposition of those things, like the ease of prayer and the stress of a clenched fist. Like I love that. So I don't know, maybe throw one more in there. I almost want to chew on that stanza a little bit more. And then my other suggestion, which I know did not come across clear in text message. I almost see this as 7 different pieces. And so what I would love to see is the repetition that you use in the very first stanza, using it throughout. So like if you open with like, I let my rage be powerful, to end with I let my rage be powerful. So that at any point, when I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of, I've been doing a lot of reading of poetic novels, where the whole book is poetry. But if you were to just open the book on any page, that poem in and of itself could stand. And so like having each day have the ability to just stand on its own, but altogether it makes this beautiful week. So almost like every day is its own day. It has an open and a close. And it doesn't have to be the repetition, but just like an open and a close to the day is what I'm kind of feeling. Like I started my day with this, and it closed here, like a closure. I don't know. That's just an idea.
No, that's dope. That's dope. And it's funny because like I just been working on this piece and trying to get more eyes on it, and just hearing feedback from different people. And one thing, so I've heard like using each one as like a continuation, like you're saying, like it's own separate piece. And then I've heard some people talk about including yesterday.
Oh.
And I was like, I didn't think about yesterday. But
yesterday,
I don't know if I start including yesterday, like what causes it, that it becomes something separate.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, like even with it makes me think about like it's like when you have an experience, sometimes it's hard to actually say what the experience is. Like, you felt something, but you don't know what the actual thing is. And the more time that you have separate from it, I don't know, like it feels like you know what it is, but you kind of lose feeling to it. So I don't know if I do yesterday, like I feel like it would be a completely different piece, especially that spur in the moment, right? So I don't know. But it makes me excited for it, because it's like it could be something interesting to like dive into, like what does yesterday mean to me? But I don't know. I'm just thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yesterday would almost turn it into another piece.
Yeah. It feels like it would be. It feels like it would, but
it's an idea to, to delve into.
Yeah. I have one more thing. I was gonna do a rap, but it's like one short poem that I'm working on. that I would like to share. It's like super short, and I'm like working more on short poems. Okay. I'm praying for you today. Pray you collide into joy and stumble upon your happiness. I pray you have a black as hell laugh today. One that erupts so big you gotta leave the room because a joke might follow you. I pray your smile shines bright like cocoa butter on black skin. I pray your friendships stay as strong as wide two combs detangling 4C hair. I pray you hug yourself as tight as you wish your mama could have. I pray you fall upon rest even though society says you shouldn't. I pray when you look in the mirror, all you see is an overcomer. I pray and I pray and I pray you know God placed you on my heart. So this poem is just a prayer, just for you. That's all I have. But like I'm trying to like I want to like make a poem about a prayer and like how prayer could be poetry. Like that's what I'm like I just been thinking about. And like that poem was just like a text message. I was like, you know, like I had a homie of mine who's out in LA and she's like, you know, she got a lot of stuff going on. You know, she went to like a protest and it got real bad. And she's just in a, you know, in a real bad state. And I was just praying for her. And then I was like, yo, I was starting to send this text like I'm praying for you. And then it just kept rhyming. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm praying in my rhyme to you. And like, so I'm interested in seeing like if this, I don't know, like what a poem about a prayer could be. So.
I think that so many prayers are poems. I almost would like to hear it as a prayer, not just like I pray, but to like actually pray it. Am I making sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
I think that would be super dope.
And that's what the Psalms are anyway, Drew. They're just poetry, right? So, so that's a great, beautiful thing, actually. But yeah, and I mean the reason the Psalms are cool is because I'm just thinking about your rage poem too. Like the cursing Psalms are all about that rage. So you've got all kinds of examples there of.
And it's funny because like so I've been crazy like weird moment. I've been reading Psalms a lot. So like the rage poem definitely came out of like me reading Psalms because I'm like I've been like reading like Psalms like 113 and 112 and 111 and I'm just like and so when I finished writing this I sent it to like a rabbi that I know and he was like, have you been reading Psalms? And I'm like, yo, I have been reading Psalms. I didn't plan on reading. I didn't know you could connect it to what you did. All right, it's great. So
Cool. Black, did you have any feedback that you wanted to give or any poetry you wanted to share and get feedback? We are at the 10 o'clock mark. So I said 8 to 10. I'm always, you know, very conscious of people's time. So if you want to leave, you are welcome to, but if you don't, and you still have poems to share, or you want to give feedback to poets that have poems to share, we'll stay on for a little while.
Yes. No, right now, no, I'm just loving hearing new work. I'm good. I've been writing more music, and but missing the poetry. So.
Gotcha. Well, we are definitely, you know, we've been in it now for 2 hours. This is a good 2 hours of sharing poetry. Whoop, whoop. I love it. There is one more piece that I would like to share.
Come on, pieces. Come on,
new pieces. Kind of love that new piece. Let's see. This is another one in this
about that new piece.
Craziness that is. I'm working on this piece called Birthright. Kind of from the idea of Jacob and Esau. and the birthright, but I'm not spelling it the same. It's like birth and then right, like R-I-G-H-T.
Okay.
So I didn't get very far because I have children and they don't like to let me write poetry. But just kind of toying with this idea. My husband has been talking about how so often, especially in the wake of all that we've been dealing with, people blame the blackness of the person. Like, you know, oh, well, you know, it was his fault. He was black while jogging, or, you know, whatever the case may be, or black while driving. And he's been very, very animate about changing our language because there's nothing wrong with the blackness, like changing the narrative, that there's nothing wrong with being black. That's the beautiful part. That's the perfect part. The problem is the idiot who's a racist. Like, they're at fault, not you for being black. You are just exactly the way you're supposed to be. So that's where this whole idea is. And I only have 3 lines right now, so I'll read the 3 lines to you, but here it is. I say, I was born with fire in my veins, headstrong and destined for greatness, beauty behind black eyes. And so any thoughts or feelings that you have about that subject matter, you can throw those at me. But that wasn't what I wanted to share.
Give us more?
It's 3 lines. I swear. I was like, I was all up in it, and then Isaiah was like, "Mom, look at this," and I was like, "Oh, never mind."
Can you do it again?
Those 3 lines?
Yeah.
Y'all are funny. Okay. I was born with fire in my veins, headstrong and destined for greatness, beauty behind black eyes.
I almost want that.
Go ahead.
I almost want that middle line gone.
Okay,
like,
okay.
You open up with the power, and I'm like, I kind of want more of the power, and then, you know, bring it to us.
Okay, okay. So like going straight, like from birth, because I was thinking
fire in my veins, and then straight into the what's the line after that?
Beauty behind black eyes.
Yeah. Like I just want that part to just keep rolling a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, before we come back to Earth. I was like, we went there.
Okay.
That's just me personally.
And
I like that.
Think about like what is your connection to fire? Like what?
Well, and that's why it came in, because I have been on this. I've been in a weird research place. I swear to y'all, it's been like my research has been all over the place. So I've been researching my name quite a bit, which is why the definition of my name came in at the end of that, after the black, because it really kind of delved into where my name came from. So my father named me Rhea after the mother of Greek gods. And so she was the mother of Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. And so that's why I talk about there's lightning and fire and water that have been birthed out of me. And just, you know, all of these, like, and she was made of earth and sun. So like, it's so funny that people call me Ray of Sunshine when, you know, like the name, when I research who the Greek goddess was, like I start to see like my characteristics and embodiment there. But then that led me to researching like African Yoruba goddesses. And so then I've been there. And then also my sign is a fire sign as an Aries. And so like all of those things, I've just been kind of all over the place. And then just going back and also researching the slave owner who like is the father, like our history goes back to him and that plantation. So I've been like researching that and learning all about like who he was and the type of person that he was. Even as a slave holder, he built an entire city so that there were more free Black people in that city in Louisiana than the majority of the state. It's just crazy. Like I said, I'm all over the place. And so when I talk about that birth, that fire in my veins, all all of that comes into that fire. So I kind of see that piece kind of going in those different places, but I haven't even figured out how to get there yet. So yeah, it'll get there eventually.
You could think of it like I decided when I quit smoking cigarettes, which I'm shooting for a couple days from now, that once I accomplish that, like in a few weeks, then I'm going to write myself a confidence poem. And that's just what I made up that it's called. But that could be something that you're doing, like, you know, like a confidence, like a, yeah, Rhea, like poem, you know.
I like that.
You know, that's all like confidence booster, you know, a gift to yourself, a poem for yourself.
I like that. Thank you.
Just an idea.
I deserve a poem.
Yeah, why not, you know?
Rhea, I'm also thinking about, you're talking about identity, your identity, and yeah, about a gift to yourself, and also when I think about goddess, you know, you're talking about the fire and the earth, and I think there, in theology, there are the three layers. There's God or goddess, and then demigod or goddess, and then human. So you're part of all of that.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. Love it.
And it's funny because like I was actually thinking about like, and this is from someone who does not know anything about childbirth, but like wondering about like what do you imagine are the similarities between like you giving birth and a God giving birth?
Oh, okay.
Right.
Like seeing it.
Go, Andrew. Yes.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
That would be the closest thing. It makes sense. You know, it's funny that that reminds me of there were some sisters talking about you know, childbirth, right? And some dummy said something about, you know, like it wasn't that amazing of a feat or whatever. And this one sister's reply was very simple. It's like, y'all just don't understand what is it? Y'all just don't understand the magic of the womb. Something to that effect. And I was just like, yeah, like I was like, yeah, you got to think about that. Like that's the original 3D printer. Like, you know, like, it's like 4D printer. You know what I'm saying? That's the original. Like, it's still science is trying to mimic what y'all do naturally. It's crazy.
That's deep.
Science is trying to mimic what y'all do.
The womb is the original 3D printer. That's deep. You need to make that a meme. I like that.
I'll wear that as a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt.
That's a Facebook post. That is.
I got you.
They make memes all the time. That needs to be one of them.
I need to make a meme. I got you. I'm like, we'll make a meme. So sincere.
Okay, so
and also thinking about like, so just thinking about like birth, this like birth metaphor, like thinking about like, you ever feel like sometimes like a poem is like almost like you're birthing a poem?
Yes, which is the next piece that I wanted to read you.
Well, come on. I felt it. I was like,
you're like, oh, okay. A week ago, I had a hysterectomy. And so I wrote this poem as an ode to my uterus, because she gone. Holder of life and child, blessings are grown in your darkness and you have done well. Retirement is never easy, but your services are no longer needed. You are part of a team that doesn't want to work any longer, so I have to let you go. I appreciate the good times, how you were so prompt to do your work monthly, a constant reminder of my ability to bear fruit, a gift that no longer exists. So now I birth new fruit of creativity and expression. I will tell your story of perseverance and dedication through poetry and music. I honor your place in my body. Your function of reproduction has been transferred to my words and deeds, so these poems will go forth after growing in the new darkness of the void you left. And I will celebrate your existence each time I hug my sons, because you held them before I did and delivered them safely to me. Well done. Your job is complete. I bid you adieu, never to work again, but never forgotten.
Yes. Yes.
So kind of transferring that idea of birthing children into birthing poetry and words and love.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah. I'm big, you know, like I hear it and I'm like, yo, where could you go? Where?
Yeah, that's what I need, because it's a short poem.
Yeah.
I literally wrote it the night I woke up at 2:37 in the morning, the night after the surgery. And it was almost like the poem called my name and woke me up, because when I heard my name audibly in my sleep, and I woke up and I was like, yeah, what? And I wrote the poem. I'm so serious. It was crazy. Might have been drugs, but it was crazy. Like I heard Rhea, and I like woke up, and there was a poem. So I do want to know, like, where else does it go?
Like when I was hearing it, I was thinking about like what is the occupation of your uterus? Like if your uterus had like a real occupation, like what would it be? And my mind immediately went to like soldier, like it immediately went there.
Okay.
But then hearing you say like you woke up and like almost like something was calling you, it makes me think about when soldiers pass away, oftentimes is who is the person that's delivering the letter to the family. And so like it made me think about like if your uterus was this soldier that is lost, and now you're delivering this message to the body, the rest of the family.
That's dope. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rhea, the other part that really stuck out was you said that your uterus knew your sons before you did. So that's like a whole world there. That's a whole world that existed that was part of you, but you were aware of it, but you weren't totally aware of what it was going to bring you yet.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope right there.
That's dope.
Black Taja.
Heather, can you say that one more time?
Yeah, so I was thinking when Rhea said that her uterus knew her sons before she did, she was aware of them, but she wasn't aware of the world that was kind of within her and about to come out of her. There's
a world within
that's going to keep going, because you have children and they're going to go out in the world and they're going to create as well. They're going to create themselves, and they're going to create everything around them, and they're going to create possibly new children themselves. So you had the world within you.
That's good.
That's good. That's fire. Like what? And the idea that like the children can continue the world and continue.
Yes.
Wow. Ugh.
And the reason that's so powerful is because there are people who can't do that, even if they have a uterus. Like I think about, because of the radiation, I can't do that. But it makes me feel like, because you and other women can do it, that I'm part of that world too. Like the world didn't go for me because other women can do it for me.
That's good.
That makes sense.
That's good, Heather.
Yeah.
That's great.
Good night. Is this a group piece? Is it a group poem?
Is it therapy?
One other little thing.
Is this a group?
One other little thing is that it is possible to have something from the future be imprinted on you. So it could be that you know, your future children were like imprinted onto your uterus.
Wow, that's good.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like people, like the future actually exists in some way. Some people say it's, you know, it's like that's why people can have premonitions and things like that. So literally be like your children, you know, it's the future printing on your, I don't know. You're just thinking of memory, like a memory of the future.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too, actually. That's great.
I have so many ideas now. I can't wait.
Yo, I'm over here still thinking about the world. I'm like, yo, that is fire. I'm like, good night. Heather one, good night.
I love that, Heather. I do. The world inside. Yeah. That's good. Real good. Yeah.
I'm excited to know where you're gonna go with that piece.
I'm excited because I'm like, oh man, that just like opened up so much more. And then what you were saying, yeah, because I mean, that's not even in the piece about just, it was, y'all, if I wish, because it was so bad, I thought my mom had called my name literally in my sleep, and I called her. Like at 3 o'clock in the morning, I called my mother. Like it was that audible. It woke me up, like Raya. Like it just woke me up. It was crazy. It was crazy.
I think that could be something as well too, like of thinking of another world that is calling you.
That's good.
You know, like the connection that keeps going. Like
yeah.
Like the generational, yeah, it's a generational world, right? Your mom, you, your children.
Yeah. That's gonna be a fire piece, y'all. That's gonna be
I'm glad that's that. Thank you guys. You're wonderful. That's good stuff. You know, I needed this. Y'all need this time to workshop pieces because we just want to be better. And so appreciate you for participating. Black.
Yo.
How did everything go for Pentecost?
Oh, it went good. Good. They like that piece. They liked it. I liked it.
Cool. So Black had to perform. Did you have to do it on Sunday? Or did they record it?
Yeah, Sunday.
Okay, so Black did a piece on Sunday on Pentecost, and
that piece is fire. Those pieces are fire. That piece is fire. It's fire. It's good. It's really good, y'all. Like it's no lie, it's good.
They liked it. You know, being out of practice, I was highly doubting it left and right. You know, Ray had taught me through some facts about Pentecost I didn't know, or I'd forgotten. I ain't heard that story in so long. But yeah, it ended up working out, man. They actually wanted it backwards. Like they wanted the last part first and the first part last, so it kind of worked out that way. I was like, so that worked out.
Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
I can recite it. If
I really love like the humanity that you gave in that. Like you really gave Jesus like a human element that I hadn't heard people talk about. Like
yeah. I didn't notice that till you said that. I was like, man.
Yeah, like I mean, because it's like to think about Jesus being starving. Like Jesus is hungry. Like Jesus is like, yo, I'm out here like I want some food myself. You know what I mean? And
yeah. I'm out here in the street.
That little part makes it feel like, oh, oftentimes we can hold Jesus to such this esteem, and rightfully so. But then also like think about like the commonality of Jesus as well too, like being a simple.
If y'all like, I can read it real quick.
Yeah, I would love to hear it. I never heard the finished product.
Okay, all right. So it goes like this. between a lot of old wives' tales, folklore, news, memes, and bad rhymes, a few things seem to have gotten misconstrued over time, like the fact that bats are not blind and not all canines are designed to age 7 years. Our time really depends on the breed and the size. Speaking of size, Napoleon wasn't short as reports have made him seem. Vikings only wore horns in famous opera scenes, and Buddha was so far from fat that be slacking that man's skinny jeans. But there's a universal language I'm glad God placed in our laughing, in our smiling, our crying, our dancing, a translator and muse, in the groove of how music moves, a glance of eyes send vibe across room, familiar as the aroma of home-cooked food, but often our meanings get lost and often caught in the languages that we choose. See, I try to fathom a peace, a real peace, the one that's in the fire that speaks in the water, where the water is dancing, the wind brings beat to the hatred and the politics and the sexism just cease, and love and the hope and the faith is unleashed. And we watch the crowd go wild. Imagine 3,000 deep. Imagine 3,000 likes, comments, and links across the globe to soothe the souls of your once haters with the news of your savior. 3,000 different languages, no Google Translator. Just God's favor, a deeper understanding of how to love thy neighbor. And now, first off, Pentecost was like the ultimate day off. No one too essential to turn nose up and scoff, no playing golf, no going to play golf or act like the invite got lost. Everybody got lost. Now, this is mandatory celebration for all walks of this nation. See, we ain't playing with this harvest. The celebration of harvest for God's grace, and we thank him. If you think that we missing this one, then you are gravely mistaken. At first light, we will swipe scythe, gather grain, and start baking. And now I like to think it was the sweet scent of that first bread loaf that summoned the Holy Ghost to interrupt that first toast, to make folks who've been reading the Bible, studied up to teach, could tell you that Jesus loved God and all, but Jesus loved God and all his people, but he definitely loved to eat. And his extension meant those intentions for that mission was complete. But I can imagine him looking down like, well, you know, I do have a few more lessons to teach, so let's go on and crash that feast. And that's what he had like that. That's that piece. That's what he had. And the way they had the program set up is that the first half is the first half, and then they do like a song and they come back to it. And when I do the whole part about Jesus wanting to crash the feast, that's when the pastor rolled into giving communion. So it kind of worked out.
Oh, okay.
It kind of worked out. They wanted to keep it like that because he's like, well, it kind of works out because I'm going to start doing communion right after that. I was like, hey, cool. So yeah, it worked out.
Love it. You did.
Thank you. Yeah, I was being slam critical. I didn't like the piece. I was like, I gotta wait a minute.
Different audience. You know, that's kind of what Taria and I were talking about yesterday is how being in the world of slam, you are really more so catering to people who listen to poetry. You know, for them to come to a slam, you are talking to the people who will do that. But when you start doing some other pieces, it's for the people who wouldn't normally listen to poetry, you know, and so making sure that it's receivable by those that won't be listening for all the good poetry type stuff, but that your message still gets across and the power of words and poetry is felt.
Right.
So I think you did a good job there, kid.
Thank you, please.
All right. Well, I see Taja got her hair wrapped up.
I know. Taja's already in the bed wrapped up.
Taja said, it's time to go, Raya. You done went about 30 minutes over. I'm going to sleep now.
I'm loving it. The whole time I just moved, y'all. I just moved into my own place, so I'm cool. I'm chilling up here.
No, really, really appreciate you all for sharing, for being a part. Hopefully you found some inspiration tonight to write for the next month, because we will be back every first Friday for Write and Share, which is this time. So you, the link that you received this last time will still work the next time. Yeah, so it'll be the same room every time. This is reserved for Write and Share. And Fifth Woman people, we got to get our YouTube followers up so that we can monetize our YouTube channel. So you have to have 1,000 followers. So the more people that you can direct to check things out and subscribe to our YouTube channel, the better. It doesn't cost them anything, but once we hit that mark, it makes money for us. So that's why that's an important thing.
Is it possible that we can, I mean, I know we can upload things ourselves, but could you send me videos so that you can put under?
Absolutely, send me videos. I will upload them to the channel, and then I will put a blast out that there's new material on the channel. So the more people that we can get to subscribe, the better. What's up, Black? Why are you laughing at me?
No, I love it. I love it.
And then I am the new website will go, well, yeah, it'll go live on Monday. So the new website is the5thwoman.com as opposed to FIFTH, because I don't know why it was ever spelled out in the first place. So I fixed that. New website goes live on Monday. And so we'll want to push that out there like crazy starting Monday morning. So grinding on that tip. I don't know why you laughing at me, Black Actress. Can't nobody see nothing but these white glasses.
The man in the dark.
Oh Lord.
Black All right, y'all.
All right, I'll see y'all next time. Talk to you later. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.